On this episode, it's Emilio Estevez. Welcome to the KJ Today Show, your place for the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. Emilio, how are you?
I'm very well, KJ. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Well, how exciting for you to have this beautiful film that you made, a while ago, having a resurgence right now. Can we just start off by talking about why right now, this time, that it is time for The Way to have this re-release with Fathom Events?
Well, sure. And, I just have to mention that we were up in Indianapolis for the Heartland Film Festival, and we were honored by the festival for the Best Picture award. So Indianapolis holds a really warm place in our hearts, and we really felt like the film received some wonderful attention there. So thank you, first of all. And then
absolutely
re-releasing, and that was during our nationwide bus tour. That was one of our last stops was in Indianapolis. We did a bus tour for this in 2011 that was over 50 days, 35 cities, and we hit what we thought were the most important cities along our pilgrimage, which is what it was really. It was our own American pilgrimage to get the word out, because we didn't have a big budget to distribute. And that was really one of the reasons why we're coming out now. The film was limited in our distribution in 2011. We were out on a few hundred screens, and like I said, we were limited with our budget. So enter, into post-pandemic, people are going back to the movies and are looking for thoughtful films, I believe, again, and looking to be moved in community and looking to see movies sitting in the a communal environment with other audience members. And so the film has really sort of found its place, and it has inspired so many people. It has this cult following in many ways. It's inspired so many people to get up off their couch, book their ticket to Spain, buy a pair of hiking boots, get a backpack, and go walk 500 miles across the northern part of Spain. And so I think that coming out of the pandemic, people are longing to get back outside, to break bread with strangers and others, and really re-engage in life, and also to grieve. I think that we haven't properly grieved coming out of the pandemic. I think that we're still in the process of healing. I was talking to a journalist last week who lost 22 family members. And he was just he was in agreement that we have not allowed ourselves to grieve. And so this movie offers that to a certain extent. It offers a moment of reflection. Pilgrimage itself is about reflection, is about going to the interior life and connecting to our spirit and who we are as human beings, and what our overarching purposes are on this planet. And I think that is that's at the very core of the movie. That's really what it's about.
So I watched it. I actually watched it this morning, Emilio, because some of the viewers and listeners that we have they are part of your cult following. And talked about, like, we saw it when it came out. You need to see it. And, without going too far into it, I'm in a bit of a grief journey myself right now. And I was a little nervous about what it was going to do to me. But I wanted to know if I kind of hit this on the head with what it felt like to me was, not only is it this real trek and it's something that people do, but the movie itself kind of felt like this metaphor for us to understand grief, and that while it's incredibly difficult, there's beauty and there's joy and unexpected friendships and laughter. And how does it feel for you to know that you've created a film, and here we are still talking about it, and that it does have that impact on people?
I think this film is going to have a life long after everybody in the credit sequence is gone. I think this is the type of film that it has a life of its own, and the last 12 years have really proven that out. I think that the movie has connected with people on such an emotional level, because it's not maudlin. It's not a picture that that's unrelenting, as a lot of dramatic films have a tendency to be. We lean into the laughter, we lean into the humor, we lean into the absurdity of life, and we also, but we don't take these things, and the characters don't take any of these things for granted, and they, in many ways, Tom becomes the father to these other pilgrims that he couldn't be to his own son. And they are, in many ways, the people that he wants to be around the least, and yet they're the ones that teach him the most. And isn't that like life?
Yes.
Sometimes people that we can't bear, the people that we don't want to have anything to do with, those are the people that teach us the greatest lessons, and give us some of the biggest gifts of our lives. And yet we don't necessarily see that at the time. We're like, oh my gosh, let me get away from this clown. And meanwhile, they're the ones that we need to be around, right?
2 quick questions before I let you go about the film, Emilio. Emily wanted to know, the cat that appears in the film, was that meant to be, or did the cat just happen to show up? And Jenna wants to know if your dad knew before he started filming how much walking he was going to be doing.
I would say that the answer to the first question is the cat just showed up. The cat was a farmer's cat that was just ended up walking on the wall, and we thought, well, okay, that's the cat can be in the movie, uncredited, of course. We didn't know the cat's name, but so that was just a moment of luck for us. And as far as the pilgrims, my dad knew what he was getting himself into. In fact, he insisted that he have a full backpack.
Wow.
Unlike the other, he really insisted that backpack be filled with weighted material, so that he believed that informed how he walked, how he moved, how he breathed, and delivered his lines. And so yeah, he definitely knew what he was in for. And you can see him actually slimming down over the course of the film.
Yeah.
So no, my mom was happy about that.
Well, thank you, Emilio, so much. Congratulations. The film is back in theaters on May 16th, and we'd love to have you back anytime for the Heartland Film Festival here in Indianapolis. It's been great to talk with you.
Thank you. Likewise. Thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for another celebrity interview. Of course, the KJ Today Show isn't just about talking to celebs. It's about hanging out with you. Join us live on Wednesday nights for pop culture, people to know, and pets. The KJ Today Show on YouTube. Subscribe and watch live Wednesday nights at 7.